And this offense this year with Joe Southwick and Harper at tailback, it's a little bit more efficient, not quite as explosive. And today against a Pac-12 defense, they're going to have to be able to avoid turnovers and play smart.
The third member of our team here today, Kirk, Tom Rinaldi, is down below, so let's go down to Tom.
Merry Christmas to you, Brent and Kirk. Well, from the outside looking in, could never find a more diminished sense of expectation from Boise State heading into this season. As Herbie mentioned, no Kellen Moore, no Doug Martin, no Shea McClellan, but instead, the Broncos redefined themselves and found a more stout defensive identity. Without a single offensive player named first-team all-conference, they won 10 games, again, conference champions, and that defense shut out opponents in the first half 7 times. As senior linebacker Tommy Smith said, we were thought of as the guys that couldn't do it because all the stars left. We answered well. Well, one player who has left, sent home for violating team rules, a key absence here, defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. A sophomore has been a huge pass rusher for the Broncos and an overall disruptive force up front. We'll have to see how the Broncos, Brent, compensate for a key defender being absent.
Yeah, exactly, Tom. And, you know, interestingly enough, these two schools, 500 miles apart, Boise from Seattle, they have played only once previously, and that was back in 2007. Jake Locker was then a freshman for Ty Willingham, and he was at the controls for the Huskies. He ran for a touchdown, and he threw for one in that game. Boise State committed 4 turnovers, and Washington broke the Broncos' 14-game winning streak, and that was the longest of the BCS at the time. The final score in that game was 24-10, the Huskies over Boise State. But not only are they going to play in the bowl game, but come next August, they're going to meet and open the newly remodeled Husky Stadium up in Seattle. And then in 2015, the series will move to Boise State. So there is Steve Sarkisian. Herbie, his 4th season, coming off a very, very disappointing loss in the Apple Cup to Washington State. And he will have the ball first here today as Boise won the toss, and they're going to defer.
Obviously had a great run at USC as a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. Took over 4 years ago in Seattle. Talking to him on the field before the game with Tom Rinaldi, and told us, you know, in some ways this was a year where it was most satisfying because of what they faced with injuries, even though they had that disappointing loss at the end of the year to Washington State.
And of course, across the way is Chris Peterson, who has done an unbelievable job. 83-8 in his 7th season, a winner 90% of the time since he has taken over. So Mickens is back deep for the Huskies. He's a freshman from Los Angeles, California, and we are underway. The Mako Bowl, Los Angeles. And this ball will come out on the 25-yard line, and here comes Keith Price, a junior from Compton, California.
6'1", 202 pounds. Had a huge year last year, and now that you see him this year, and we talked about it in the open, you know, I think a lot of people expected him to have an all-conference type of year. Lost 3 of his starting offensive linemen. Chris Polk, the starting tailback from a year ago, he left early. Lost his top 2 wide receivers. His top returning receiver was injured. So in other words, it's been a work in progress for this offense.
And Herbie, they'll start the game with an empty backfield, and they'll spread 4 wide receivers. They bring the jet sweep around, and they catch the edge here on first down with Bishop Sankey, their fine running back. And we will take a look at the Huskies' impact players.
Yeah, as much as Keith Price has to play well, it's really, they're going to win this game depending on how well Bishop Sankey plays. He's got to be able to provide that part of the offense. Kason Williams and Safarian Jenkins on the outside will look for one-on-one matchups. And of course, on defense, Desmond Trufant is going to be out there on an island quite a bit today against the Boise State receivers. He'll have to hold up.
Wildcat formation. Williams keeps it. And checked out, that was Sankey who was back there. Williams was flanked out to the right.
Little wildcat there where they had Sankey getting it and moving Mickens around, trying to catch the defense off guard. And right now it looks like Washington, they were a very successful inside zone running team. these first couple plays, they're trying to get the ball a little bit more to the outside, maybe trying to challenge Boise State on the perimeter.
Keeping it on the ground with Sankey. Crosses the 40-yard line. And Herbie, you mentioned all the changes in the offensive line, and it is a very, very young group here for the Huskies today. Drew Schaefer is the senior and the ringleader, and you can see that he has 41 starts under his belt. But you can see how inexperienced, especially the right side. 2nd down and 7 for Washington. Opening drive of the game. First pass of the game is complete to ASJ. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, one of the bigger tight end targets in the country.
When you're 6'6", 266 pounds, you got to be able to find an opening, and that's what he does. He's almost like a forward in basketball, the way they use him. He's a little option route there, the inside. You can see the guys that are trying to make the plays in coverage, they don't have nearly the size to be able to stay up with him, and that's a matchup to keep an eye on throughout this game.
3rd down and 2. Sankey fumbles. Ball's on the deck. Battle for it. Conference USA officiating crew sorts it out, and the Broncos say they've got it. First turnover of the game, a fumble by Bishop Sankey, recovered by Boise State.
And Darren Kontz does a good job of getting in there, getting the penetration. 3rd down and short. You can see nobody picks him up. Hatchie just misses him. He didn't come down to pick him up. And Kontz stepping up right here. He just slides right into the middle of this offense. Comes up with a big play. And remember, when Washington has lost games, they're -5 in the turnover margin. That's how Boise State beats teams.
And quickly to the attack, Joe Southwick brings the Boise State offense, and that is going to be a story here. Play action on 1st down, roll right, fired near side, juggled out of bounds, incomplete. And so now it is 2nd down, and Herbie, here comes the hurry.
And Chris Peterson told us it's something they've not done all year, but they've had the extra preparation. They're going to go no huddle. Keep in mind, Oregon and Arizona both went no huddle, obviously, and had a lot of success against Washington. They looked at a lot of the film, and here they are going to implement their own no huddle today.
And they'll throw that bubble screen to the outside, but no more than 2 yards. Shaq Thompson, that fabulous freshman Husky defender, comes up and makes his first play of the game. And quickly the Huskies will try to substitute. Are they going to get the 2 fellas off? Yes, they do, in time.
Boise State substituted, gave Washington enough time to get 2 new players on the field.
Southwick will take off. Drives for the 1st down. Good effort by the redshirt junior from Danville, California, 6'1" Joe Southwick.
This is what he brings to the table, and Southwick's already ready to go to this next play. We didn't see this from Kellen Moore much. Play breaks down. The coaches have been challenging him to do more of this. We saw it in the Nevada game, and here he steps up big on 3rd down and converts.
Hands off Harper, huge hole in the middle, and he blasts across the 25-yard line for Boise State.
And Brent, you know that when you're going up against a no huddle, when they get that first down, it just seems to charge the battery and create momentum. And all of a sudden, that very next play, they open up a seam, and Harper hits it.
Well, here they come again. Southwick's target was covered. He'll throw this one out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball is on the Huskies 24.
You know, imagine Justin Wilcox preparing his team, and he's the first-year defensive coordinator. He's done a remarkable job. We'll talk more about that in a second. But they've seen bits and pieces of no huddle from Boise, but at the end of a game or end of a half, not like this to open up a game.
Play action, fires middle, open, deflected, incomplete, and almost picked off. Sean Parker, the fine safety, got to it first here for the Huskies.
Yeah, the junior from Los Angeles, a lot of closing speed. He's had a huge year. He almost got there one more step, and he ends up coming up with the interception. And the freshman, Marcus Peters, good awareness, almost comes up off the tip pass with an interception, but great play there by Parker.
Broncos substitute, that slows it down. They'll huddle up for 3rd down and 10. It's Dan Paul, the fullback, going to the left side of the quarterback. Steps away from trouble, on the move, throws underneath to Harper. And Harper's going to get blasted well short of that first down. Justin Glenn.
Justin Glenn over to make the stop on the play. At the gain of 7, it'll be 4th down.
Well, we welcome everybody to the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas. Boise State settling for a field goal on its first drive. The Huskies turned it over on a fumble near midfield. And so Frazina here will attempt a 34-yard field goal to put Boise State ahead. And it curls in. 3-0. The co-champions of the Mountain West Conference lead the Washington Huskies of the Pac-12. And again with Kirk Herbstreit, Tom Rinaldi's down below. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you with us. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Las Vegas. And the folks who just joined us, they missed that little bit of hurry up that Boise State was showing for the first time.
Yeah, if they missed it, it's interesting. The Boise has not really done much no huddle all year. And the very first series, they decided that they're going to come out and do a lot of no huddle. And Washington didn't know that. And I'll tell you, considering their own offense fumbles at midfield, and they had to defend a no-huddle offense coming at them rapidly, they did a pretty good job with Justin Wilcox as a defensive coordinator, communicating, getting the right calls in, and doing what they did to force Boise to settle for a field goal.
Let's check in down below with Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Brent, we had spoken to Boise State head coach Chris Peterson. He had suggested they might go to the hurry up. I spoke to him on the field just prior to the game. He said this is something we work on frequently in practice to try to handle. Puts a bigger premium here on Joe Southwick in terms of his ability to process the signals coming in from the sideline. But they have faith that he's going to be able to do it. Obviously taking advantage of that early turnover, Brent. They get some points on the board.
Yeah, indeed, Tom. And Mickens is back deep. He fields this at the 6-yard line. Looking for a seam for the Washington Huskies wearing the white jerseys. Boise State in the dark blue. So it's 3-0 with the Broncos leading. 10:20 here in the first quarter. Keith Price, the Husky quarterback who a year ago in that shootout against Baylor, he was responsible for 7 total touchdowns in that game.
I mean,
they lost.
Yeah, he was going back and forth with RG3 in San Antonio that night. It counts for 7 touchdowns in a loss.
Back to throw for the second time. And Mickens, it's incomplete. He was diving for the ball as he slipped out of the backfield.
Price has been dealing with this all year. And I think it's gotten to a point where it's really affected the confidence that he has in his offensive line. Those numbers you're looking at right there against Baylor, that was against a very poor defense and with a veteran group around him. This year, he's been working with a lot of inexperience and youth up front. And you just saw, again, more pressure on that poor throw because the center was being pushed right into him as he was releasing the football.
Price is in trouble, and he's down at the 20-yard line.
People want to talk about why didn't Keith Price have a better year. Well, you can look and see that this offensive line has a lot to do with why he struggled. This time, Bo Martin just works right up in the middle again. The left side of that offensive line goes right by Dexter Charles. And he's been sacked 69 times in the last 2 years.
But Bo Martin making that stop, that's a story because DeMarcus Lawrence was sent home for disciplinary reasons. So number 8, big-time defensive lineman for Boise State, has been suspended and will not play in this game today. Price is back on the slant. Mickens reaches, grabs it at the 30-yard line, and that is short of the first down.
Now they're trying to do anything they can right now to help Keith Price. Quick throws. They've moved him at times. Anything they can do to try to get him into a rhythm. Right now he's limping off the field here when they came up short on that 3rd down.
So that rugby-style moving punt takes a favorable bounce for the Huskies, and it'll roll dead close to the 20-yard line.
Potter lets the ball roll dead at the 21-yard line.
So over on the sideline, it looks like being tended to over there on the bench as we continue with our coverage of the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas. After Washington's second series, Keith Price came off the field, appeared to be limping. Trainers could barely stop him, talked to him for maybe 30 seconds, seemed to shake off either a low back or a leg issue, then went right to Kurt Sarkisian, started talking to him about that last series. Now Boise State takes over, Brett.
All right, Tom, thank you. And Joe Southwick coming out from the 21-yard line here on 1st and 10. With the jet sweep action that they like with Shane Williams-Rhodes. He's a freshman. And the Huskies were more than ready for that action on that play. Sean Parker up with the stop.
Here's that hit that we had late there, and you could see, boy, that was dangerous. Darren Const trying to get pressure, just dove into the air and got blocked into the legs of Keith Price. Let's hope, as you heard Tom's report, that he's going to be okay and continue to play.
2nd down and 11. Back with Harper. And the Huskies swarming at the 21-yard line. And Travis Feeney, the first to hit him, the linebacker.
I got to tell you, this defense, it's amazing what Justin Wilcox has done. And to be honest, those linebackers, Feeney and Thompson, this time it's Feeney, both have a lot to do with it, the speed in which they're playing with.
See Brunell Myers, the right tackle for Boise State, down on the field. He's a 5th-year senior from Houston. And so he was injured on that play, and so he's being tended to. Herbie, you mentioned Justin Wilcox. I was leaving the hotel today, and who walked up to me but his father, Dave Wilcox. And, of course, I covered him with the 49ers Hall of Fame linebacker. And so Justin Wilcox, you know, great legacy.
Great pedigree.
It is
doing
indeed.
a heck of a job this year.
ESPN College Football, the Mako Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Mako Collision Repair and Auto Painting, the collision repair shop that paints cars. Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. And Lexus, the Lexus December to Remember sales event is on. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Reese Adiambo has moved in at right tackle to replace the injured Myers. He's a redshirt freshman from Mansfield, Texas. 6'4", 297 pounds, anchoring the right side of the Boise State line now. They bring motion through on this 3rd down. Southwick fires back to the Matt Miller, his first reception, well short of the 1st down. And the Huskies' aggressive defense, Herbie, is starting to take charge here of this offense.
Big part of their plan was going to man up a lot on the outside. They wanted to take DJ Harper away, try to force Joe Southwick and his Boise State offense to be consistent, being able to move the football without explosives. If they limit the explosives, they can stop Boise's offense today.
Cody Bruns said it may have been partially blocked. It certainly influenced a bad one, and it's picked up by Bruns. And Bruns is down at the 44-yard line, and he was shaken up on that tackle too. But take another look at this kick. Was not blocked. I believe he got it off, but it was very close.
I think it affected the rhythm of what Harmon was trying to do. Glenn just reaches out, and just by reaching out there, I think it may have caught the attention of Trevor Harmon. Not the most, not a punt that he's very proud of, I'm sure, and Washington gets pretty good field position here.
Price moves quickly under center. Sankey, the running back, long reaching handoff, and Sankey, who fumbled earlier, with a tough run to midfield as he comes across. Folks, if you're a hoops junkie, Christmas Day is for you. How about that count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NBA games on ABC and ESPN? Look at that lineup. Knicks, Lakers, Oklahoma City, and the Heat. Rematch of the NBA championship. What a day if you like basketball on Christmas Day. 2nd down coming up now for the Huskies. Toss play, and here comes Sankey trying to get the right edge, and he's got a big hole. 25 and busted out of bounds in the red zone at the 16-yard line by Ioane. Jeremy Ioane.
Well, this is a good job by Sarkisian drawing up a play, getting the formation to help him get to the outside. Boise State's pinching everything into the interior. And again, another successful play where Sankey bounces the ball to the outside. This time he has a lineman leading the way. Boise State fortunate that didn't go all the way to the house.
So after the 33-yard gain from the power I, the draw play, and Sankey is just short of the 10-yard line at the 11. So after that 33-yard run, they come right back with this rascal.
Yeah, and again, he is the key today. Being able to balance out this offense. Again, they've got to take the pressure off of not just Price, but the offensive line and pass protection. It's been an Achilles heel all year long. And even Boise State knew coming in they have to stop Bishop Sankey. The last couple plays, we've been able to see what he can do when you give him some room.
Second down and 6. They go to the Wildcat formation again with Sankey. And he crosses the 10 to the 8-yard line. And it'll bring up a 3rd down here for Washington.
He's a great story when you think about Chris Polk left early for the NFL. Jesse Collier looked like would become the guy. He got hurt, and Sankey all of a sudden went from being kind of a fringe back to being the go-to guy. In the 4th game, a Thursday night game on ESPN against Stanford, he ends up going for 144 yards. I think that really got his confidence going and allowed him to have a huge year this year.
Price back on the field. An empty backfield. Fires, dropped. Might have had a touchdown, but the ball was dropped by Williams, and that will bring up a field goal attempt by the Huskies.
He gets more pressure, but at least he gets the ball out of his hands before he gets hit. Missed assignment up front. Quarterback makes the throw. I was watching him in the pregame warm-up sprint. He puts a lot of velocity on the ball, and even on the shorter throws, he doesn't take much off of it. And that time, I don't think Kason Williams had much of a chance to be able to secure the ball. If he did, it's an easy 1st down.
Cody Bruns is the holder. He'll put it down for Travis Coons. 26-yarder on the way, and we are deadlocked at 3. 4:47 remaining here in the 1st quarter. Steve Sarkisian settles for a field goal. Gorgeous day here in Las Vegas for the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas. Washington and Boise State are tied. Herbie refers to the fact that Boise State has sent so many key players to the NFL. Doug Martin, the star running back now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And of course, the record-setting quarterback Kellen Moore is with the Detroit Lions. He played in this bowl last year. Austin Pettis, wide receiver for the St. Louis Rams. Titus Young trying to get his act together with the Detroit Lions, but he is a talented wide receiver. And there, folks, I believe, other than Alabama, that's the most prolific draft from any team in the country, Herbie, isn't it?
Yeah, think about that. I think the nation still looks at Boise State as that little engine that could.
Right. Here's Williams Rhodes to the 21-yard line. Chris Peterson has just done one of the great coaches. Anytime there's a position open, he's going to Arkansas.
He's going everywhere. He's going everywhere. Meanwhile, he's in a meeting room.
Exactly. Somebody called me from Wisconsin. I didn't hear from anybody.
But what a job. I know he's been to BCS bowl games. I know he's done great things. But this year, considering it, the players that we just showed, Brett Peace, his offense coordinator now at Florida with Will Muschamp, this might be one of the best years he's had as a head coach at Boise State. I believe. You're not going to beat him this year. You're not going to beat him.
Beware, because there's some young, real good talent on this Boise State team. Whereas Harper, you know, one thing, Ruby, I must say now, the tackling by Washington, very enthusiastic. One of the things you measure with the bowl game, do the kids really want to be in it? Do they want to play? Are they happy with the circumstance? It looks to me like Washington's very happy to be here.
I called this game last year with Tom Ronaldi and Chris Fowler, and Arizona State was here. And I can tell you, they were not excited to be here. You're right. Washington's defense, they played this way all year for Justin Wilcox, playing with a lot of energy.
Southwick fires, and good second effort for the 1st down for Boise State on that play. And Boldevine did a good job.
He bounces off of Shaq Thompson there, who was in coverage. Able to wrap up on the bigger receiver, 6'4", 215 pounds, and here comes a hurry up.
Hurry up, trying to get a quick first down if they can. I thought they'd had it on the previous play, but they needed still that final few inches to get the first down.
They gave it to him here.
They get their first down.
What Washington's doing right now is this has not been an offense that's been very explosive, so they're cheating down to stop Harper. They're cheating down against the run, and I think Boise's going to have to counter that with more from their passing game.
Southwick. Complete to Miller, out of bounds. And you were right on target with that call, Herbie. They went to the passing game, and Desmond Trufant, who's a fine defensive back for the Huskies, and Miller was able to pick up the first down on it.
And there's your man, Matt Miller from Montana. I thought I was almost going to get out of the way. That's your guy. When 2 in blue gets his hands on the ball, look out.
Here comes Harper, picks the daylight. Fine run.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the passing game going when you got a defense that's crowding the line. All of a sudden, the safeties and linebackers got to back out a bit, and it can open some things up. It's actually a great cut this time by Harper. He makes a jump cut to the right as the defense is flowing to pick up 9 yards.
Second down, Harper trying to find daylight on the left. He was very patient, waiting for a hole, but nothing really opened up. And John Tebow, number 10, a Mike linebacker, finally got him down.
I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. The difference in Washington's defense is not just Justin Wilcox, it's the speed of the linebackers with Feeney, Timo, and Shaq Thompson, number 7.
Third down and short now. Harper picks it up, plus some across the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Boise.
Good job up front by Boise State. Third down and short. Pretty much know who's going to get the football. And again, Harper, you've got to be impressed with this guy. Fought through 2 different ACL injuries, one in 09 and 2010.
Throw outside this time and run out of bounds is Chris Potter. And that was Travis Feeney, the linebacker.
You almost wonder if Chris Peterson and Robert Prince are setting up maybe a little bit of a trick play. They threw that ball back to Potter. It was a lateral. And the way he was holding it, you know he's thinking about maybe trying to throw it downfield. Keep in mind, that is a play later, maybe.
Southwick from the pocket, incomplete. 2 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter.
Were you impressed with his comments that he said to us, how was the year? Imagine filling the shoes of the all-time winningest quarterback in the history of the game, Kellen Moore. He said, not just it was interesting, he said, I learned a lot about life, that I'm going to carry on and use some of these lessons for the rest of my life. Just about a lot of people very critical of his play this year. And who wouldn't be after when you're trying to replace Kellen Moore?
I was impressed with his mustache.
Yeah.
All the quarterbacks growing a mustache a few games ago, and he's still got it on because they haven't lost. Firing it underneath now. He's got Potter for a first down. Shaq Thompson, that freshman, making the stop. So we will show you what we mean. There he is for the first 10 games, completed 65%. Last 2, fear the stash, baby.
Let me tell you about what he thinks about that stash. We said in the meeting, so you're going to, what do you think? You like it? You're going to shave it? If, after this game, he said, win or lose, this thing's off. He might shave it in the locker room after the game.
It comes back
I think that's a good call,
It is. Boy, Shaq Thompson, Herbie, that freshman linebacker that Wilcox would tell us about, what a good-looking football player. He's moving all over the field, making stops on the right and the left. He has got a big motor. Ajayi is who we brought down that time, and that
6'2",
brings up 2nd and 7.
215 out of Sacramento. Could play tailback in almost any school in the country.
Southwick's going to keep it. He's a good athlete, can't get the first down. Coaches would like to see him take off a little bit more.
Yeah, we saw it earlier on a crucial third down where he was willing to take off and he picked up the first down, actually showed a nifty move. Yeah, Chris Peterson said, hey, remember a couple years ago, you were a wrinkle to Kellen Moore. We'd bring you into the red zone or short yardage as kind of that wildcat guy. Don't forget about that athletic ability. He did it late in the year against Nevada. We've seen him today willing to take off when he's had a chance to be able to run with it 3 times today for 14 yards.
Harper is back in the game for this 3rd and 2, and he'll take it on a toss to the left. And he picks up the first down. 2 ACL injuries in his career. At one time, folks, he was ahead of Doug Martin. In fact, they were moving Martin over to the defensive side when he was injured, and that's how Doug came to be the big-time running back at Boise State.
What an impressive drive here for Chris Peterson. 13 plays. They've converted 4 third downs here to keep this drive alive and get into the red zone.
Now with a first down and 10, Southwood with an empty backfield. Offensive line does a fine job, and it is complete. Reaching for the touchdown is Boldevine. Geraldo Boldevine.
Great patience here by Joe Southwick. The tight end actually clears the linebacker, number 10, John Timo, right in the middle of the field. He has to follow the vertical stretch by the tight end. It opens it up. He puts the ball right on the money so the safety, Sean Parker, could not make a play on it. It's a great throw that time by Joe Southwick.
Matt Miller will put it down here for Messina. Nothing comes easy with the Boise State kicking game. Danny Shelton may have gotten to it. We'll check it. And it's 9-3 as a result of the botched extra point.
And with a new snapper, you wonder about the timing. The timing actually looks pretty good. Looks like they just got a big push there, and I think you're right. It was the big guy, Danny Shelton, who was able to get in there. So another good look at waiting for it to open, using his eyes to try to hold that safety back, and then eventually coming back and making a very good throw to Boldevine.
Yeah, you mentioned that the long snapper's gone. He was left back home for disciplinary reasons, too. Chris Robertson, and you wonder a little bit about that. Kevin Keene was to take over as the long snapper. So it's 9-3 with 15 seconds to go. And you know, the Huskies were jumping up and down after that botched extra point. There's a lot of enthusiasm on the Washington sideline here on the near side in this game. But that was a brilliant drive, and we're going to put your finger on all the converted third downs. Here comes Mickens out for the Huskies. Just past the 20-yard line. That's where Price and the offense will go to work again.
You know, we've seen so much of Bishop Sankey in that running game with Sarkisian trying to get it to the outside, to the perimeter where they bounce some runs. If I'm Boise State, I'm going to start to really crowd the line of scrimmage myself, much like Washington's doing, and saying, all right, let's see if the offensive line can hold up in pass protection, and let's see if Keith Price in his passing game can beat us. Otherwise, let's try to take away Sankey, which is the strength of their offense.
Last play of the opening quarter here. Play action. Price on the move has to throw it away. So we will start the second quarter. It'll be Huskies football, 2nd down and 10 when you come back to Las Vegas for the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week. Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
With Kirk Herbstreit and Tom Rinaldi, I'm Brent Musburger. We welcome you back to the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas. Washington playing Boise State. And the Huskies with a 2nd down and 10. Keith Price under pressure has to drop it off underneath, and they get it to the 30-yard line. Herbie, here's a question for you. ASJ, as he is known up in Seattle, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, he's only caught the ball once. With a target like that, wouldn't you try to get him? What was the Boise State doing to him?
I think they want to try to get the football. What they're doing right now a lot of times is rerouting and trying to jam and disrupt the timing between he and his quarterback. This is where he's pivotal right here on 3rd down. See if they can get him the football down at the bottom of the screen.
And he slips out, but Price is looking downfield, takes off, and he's sacked back at the 27-yard line by Bo Martin, who is stepping in there for the suspended DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's made a couple of big plays.
That's the other reason he's not getting the football, is this pressure that they're receiving on 3rd down. It's Bo Martin. We've also seen, watch Kyrie Marshall, the backup defensive end. He chases him out of the pocket to allow Boise State to eventually come up with a big sack there by Bo Martin.
Travis Coombs hangs one in the air from Potter. Potter says stay away from it. And it'll be down to the 34-yard line. Herbie, let's take a look at that last drive brought to you by the Hilton Garden Inn.
They did a really good job of being able to sustain the drive. And Southwick, I thought that was his best drive that he's had. He was able to convert 4 different 3rd downs to keep the drive alive. This was a big one here, as we saw to Matt Miller, and then eventually the big touchdown to Boldevine. So let's see if they can build off of that last drive where they were able to get their first touchdown of the day.
Ajayi stays in as the running back. Finished up that last series, remember. And Myers is back at right tackle. And the first down pass to Matt Miller. And I believe that's about his 3rd catch so far of this game.
It's your guy.
Young man out of Helena, Herbie. Jim Harbaugh, apparently every school back then tried to recruit him as a safety.
He's big,
and Boise
6'3".
State said he could be a wide receiver, which he wanted to play. And then they run Fields, and they come back in now with some of the backup running backs. DJ Harper not yet returning, so Ajayi gets another carry.
It's another 3rd down. Let's see how they do here. See if Washington tries to get pressure here on Southwick.
Southwick looking downfield, taking off, and he's pushed out of bounds. He was defended by Timu. Mike linebacker would not let him loose.
No, that's one of the rare times today we've seen the front 4 get pressure without having to bring the blitz, and give Josh Shirley, the sophomore, number 22, all the credit there for chasing Southwick out of the pocket, and eventually he just ran out of room. Nice play by 22, White.
So remember, Harmon was under fire the last time he punted for the Huskies, so let's see what happens here. Line drive, and winds up being pretty good. Goes out of bounds about the 20-yard line. Saturday afternoon, Las Vegas. A look down south side of the Strip.
My name's Sergeant First Class Antonio Cowan. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'd like to say happy holidays to all my family, friends, and loved ones back home, and give a special shout out to my wife and kids and my brother and sister. I love you guys.
Hi, I'm Corporal Helen from Mason City, Iowa. I'd like to give a shout out to all my family and friends back at home. I love every single one of you guys. Merry Christmas and safe holidays to all of you.
Hello, I'm Staff Sergeant Coleman from Yakima, Washington. I'd like to wish Merry Christmas to my wife and 3 kids at home in Yakima, my mom and dad, and go Huskies.
Greetings from some of our servicemen who are stationed in Afghanistan, who sent that along to everybody, and we certainly wish a Merry Christmas to all our troops who are abroad right now. And first down, the Huskies bust one out to the 40-yard line here on first down and 10. Bishop Sankey, one of his better runs of the game.
And Dexter Charles, the guard, pulls around, comes up with a big block on a safety, and second time we've seen him be able to get free that 2nd and 3rd level of the Boise State defense. It seems like there's either penetration and he doesn't get much of an opportunity, or they're able to crease him like they did there, and he's able to spring for a big play.
Yeah, he's at 16 yards on that one and 33 will be on that earlier one. And they'll come right back with him, and only for about a yard to the 40-yard line. J.C. Percy, the fifth-year senior from Blackfoot High School in Idaho, makes a stop.
Percy's been a guy that you and I've called Boise State games over the last 4 or 5 years, and it just seems like he's been here forever. Great leader for them this year. Considering all the defensive front players that they lost to the NFL, they've turned to him for leadership, and he's been able to be that anchor all year.
Price rolls to the right, fires high and incomplete. Would have been a tough catch if the ball was a little bit high and Price released it.
And Price is fundamentally sound, but he's late. Here he just, and I like that Sarkisian's trying to move him away from the pressure. But see how late he is with this throw? If he throws that ball a step or two before, then you've got enough time to be able to get not only the receiver make a catch in bounds, maybe make the catch and turn upfield for a first down.
So they empty the backfield out for this 3rd down and 8. Time goes down the near side, is intercepted. Picked off by Boise State's Jamar Taylor, who intercepted one and returned it 100 yards last year against Arizona State. Folks, Jamar Taylor is a Sunday afternoon player, big timer.
And this is the matchup that we wanted to see. Big receiver in Williams at 6'2", 216 against a big corner in Taylor. You mentioned Taylor has a future on Sundays, and young Williams as a sophomore is the go-to guy for Keith Price. He's locked down there, and it's a poor throw by Price. Throws it, tries to throw a back shoulder fade, but throws it low and away. Good recognition by Taylor to come up with that interception. The 2nd turnover today already for Washington's offense.
And DJ Harper returns as the Boise State running back. Play action, Southwick has an open receiver across the 40-yard lines. Chris Potter, and it'll be 1st and 10.
1st and 10 after a big turnover. A great opportunity to try to take a shot. The defense took away the deep throw, but he had so much time, he's able to find his receiver at the 2nd level for a big game.
Now with an empty backfield, Southwick protection, and the middle is open. And Holden, who scored the touchdown, is just shy of the red zone.
I think right now they're sensing they've got not just momentum, but they've got the Washington defense, I would say for the first time, back on their heels and confused. They're looking over at the sideline. They're confused. They look a bit rattled, and Boise State's cranking up the tempo and attacking right now.
Southwick scrambles out to the right. Back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Justin Glenn, and he's been active at that safety position.
He's been all over the field. He's been really good against the run, and he's the guy that at times can be an Achilles heel for you in coverage and one-on-one coverage, but has been a guy so far today, especially in run support, has been out there making a lot of plays.
Small play, Harper. And the Huskies defended that very well. Danny Shelton, 317-pounder from Auburn, Washington, making the stop.
Washington getting the substitutions in against this tempo, even though now Boise will take their time here on this 3rd down. They've had a lot of success on 3rd downs. They're 5 of 8 so far in this game.
Chris Peterson has to be thinking of going 4 downs. If they're having trouble kicking extra points, it's not going to be easier kicking field goals either. 3rd down. Southwick steps up, comes in underneath the Potter. That's going to be short of the 1st down, but at least it's manageable. Timu makes the stop, and now Peterson's going to have to make the call here. Field goal unit is ready over there on the sideline, but there's no indication yet. It's 4th down and 2, and here they come.
He's thinking, okay, up 6 right now, chance to get up by 9 first half. Now you just got to go out and execute with the snap, the hold, and the kick.
Matt Miller is the holder for Frisino. Kevin Keene now is in as the long snapper today. 30-yarder on the way, and it's good. So Peterson makes the right call.
He makes the right call, and the other thing is, you got to give Washington's defense some credit. They buckled down in the red zone. This game could be even a lot worse than it is right now.
Exactly. So we've got a timeout here. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada.
ESPN College Football, the Mako Bowl Las Vegas, is brought to you by Las Vegas, where real fans know where to catch the games. Head to LasVegas.com today. The Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury. And the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn double miles you can actually use.
Well, both teams got to see the Blue Man group perform, and that's Chris Potter, the wide receiver for Boise State. They're going to make him disappear. They're going to paint him blue. They're going to do all kinds of things to him. They're fun to watch.
This Potter's not quite sure what he's getting into there.
He's wishing, why isn't my name Harry Potter? I can wave the wand.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Short kickoff. Fielded on the 22 by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is plowed under.
The Boise defense has had a great start to this football game. And, you know, one thing Washington knew, they had to protect the football to have a chance today. They've got 2 turnovers. There's a fumble. They've not been able to protect Price at all. Every time he's back to throw, he's either sacked or he's got a lot of pressure to deal with. And I think it's forced him to be able to throw the ball and just take some chances. That's kind of been a great illustration of his year, that last play, where he just doesn't get the help that he needs around him. The protection breaks down, and he tries to make something happen and forces the issue instead of letting the game come to him.
So the running play on the first down with Sankey. Taylor makes the stop. You know, Herbie, Pete Kwiatkowski is the fine defensive coordinator for the Broncos, and he has really done a good job with this group.
And here's your big tight end that we all love so much, Safarian Jenkins. Look at him lock on that time and make a heck of a block, and just kind of push that linebacker right down the field, open up more room there for Sankey.
And he battles his way toward that first down marker that time as Washington goes over 100 yards total. Offensively, Boise State has 155.
I'm glad you brought up Pete Kwiatkowski, because he took over, as you said, when Justin Wilcox moved to Tennessee. Does a great job with this defense and just has them dialed in every single game, playing their best.
And he and Wilcox are great friends. They went on a fishing trip to Montana this summer. And here they are dueling away as defensive coordinators in Las Vegas. And Sankey, again, bit of a workhorse back, isn't he?
The last 4 games of the year, he averaged 22 carries a game for 142 yards with 6 touchdowns. Here comes the Washington's version now of the no huddle as Sankey checks out of the game.
And Taylor deflected at the line of scrimmage. Taylor had checked in, and Price threw the ball.
Looks like Greg Graham's got his hand up there to knock that down. And with Price, when he stays in the pocket to throw the ball, this is one of the things you got to deal with. Is those defensive linemen are going to be able to knock that football down. He's 6'1" in the pocket. Sometimes those defensive linemen can be a big distraction as it's tough to find windows. Another 3rd down for Washington. They're 0 for 5 on the day.
Pump fake. Going to take it downfield deep to Williams, incomplete. And he'll be forced to punt. Can't get that passing game going.
No. And I said earlier, if you're Pete Kwiatkowski and you're the defensive coordinator from Boise, you're going to take your chances. Leave some guys on islands. Take your chance. Load up against that running game of Sankey and force this quarterback Price to show that he can effectively throw the ball with that offensive line.
So Travis Coons will now punt, and Chris Potter back deep, and this is a booming high punt. Fair catch. It's a signal. Back at the 11-yard line. Boise State leading Washington 12-3. 7:41 left here in the first half. We welcome you back and remind you that Capital One Bowl Week continues Monday, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Fresno State will play SMU. That's 8 Eastern on ESPN. You can also watch it live on ESPN app, and you'll hear it on ESPN Radio. Here are some of the SMU players arriving in Hawaii, and Fresno State in the Mountain West practicing. And there they are with a luau with the 2 teams. And Grant Hedrick has now checked in at quarterback. So he hands off on first down out to the 14. And Hedrick is a redshirt sophomore from Independence, Oregon.
as he comes in for a play. About 6 new players come running onto the field for the next play, including Joe Southwick.
I thought I was watching the Jets. Tim Tebow was going to get 1 snap and then go home. Southwick stands in tall and throws. Boldevine has been very active. And so here's a question. Did they just want to give Hedrick a little feel for the game?
That's a great question for a coach after the game. I mean, you have no idea. Southwick up to this point has been playing pretty well. I don't know if that was one of those things that was predetermined before the game started. Hey, Grant Hedrick, keep your head in the game. We're going to get you into the point in the first half, but comes in for 1 snap.
The whole series.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It'd be better than you would think. But anyway, here's a 3rd down. Joe Southwick. Here comes the blitz. Stands in, completes it to Miller. There's a penalty flag thrown by the back judge. And I wonder if this is going to go against the offense. This might be a pushing against the offense.
Number 2 on the offense. Going to be half the distance to the goal. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, and Matt Miller committed the offensive pass interference.
But we talked about how big he is, and he clearly at the top of his route trying to get separation against a freshman. He just pushed him away to open himself up underneath. 6'3", 215 going up against Marcus Peters at 5'11", 190.
Herbie, that's the first penalty of the game.
Yeah. 2 well-coached ball clubs. Actually, that's rare for Washington this year.
They've been
one of those penalized
penalized
teams in the country.
Here's 3rd down and 14 for Southwick. Backed up inside the 10-yard line. Scrambles out. On the run, comes back to Miller for the 1st down. Across the 25-yard line. Bails him out on a long 3rd down.
Rushing 3 and dropping 8. When you drop 8 into coverage, what it forces you to do is communicate. You've got to be able to communicate as receivers are leaving one zone and running into another. That time he bought time by being able to scramble away from the pressure and opened it up across the middle of the field.
18 yards, coming long, got a man open. And Burks, but there is a penalty flag back at the 19-yard line. I think this one's going to go against the Huskies.
Joe Southwick is fired up running down this field.
Personal foul, face mask, number 71 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic 1st down.
So Shelton guilty.
And Boise State is notorious for trying to get guys to the outside and get them one-on-one. He's down at the bottom of the screen, and they'll double move you. They'll give you a little move to the inside, and this is against the freshman, Marcus Peters. Steve Sarkisian told us, listen, we know they're going to double move my freshman corner, Peters. We've got to be able to hold up when they go that way. That time, Burks gave a little move to the inside, a kind of a little pump and go, and he was able to leave Peters behind him, and it's a well-thrown ball there by Southwick.
Huddle! Hey, huddle! Huddle!
So the ball is going to be spotted.
Result of the play is a 1st down.
So the pass play stands, and the ball is going to be spotted at the 34-yard line.
Justin Wilcox knows that will not be the only time that Marcus Peters or Desmond Trufant are going to see that double move. There's a throw, maybe.
Double pass. Wide open. Caught. Reaching for the touchdown. No signal down at the 1-yard line. Holden Huff, the tight end.
I don't know if he ever touched the ground. It didn't look like his body. It looked like he landed maybe on the defender, Justin Glenn, who was making the tackle. And obviously that's what they're talking about. Maybe one of them had a better vantage point.
Well, instant replay will take a look at it upstairs, as they do on every play in the college game. They'll stop it right now as they took a look at it.
Remember earlier when they threw to Potter and I said it kind of looked like he was I said, get ready, stay tuned, that one's going to come back.
The previous play is under review. The ruling on the field was that the runner was down 1 yard short of the
Unless
goal
his
line.
knee touches. I looked like his body landed on Glenn. Here's Glenn behind him, actually makes the tackle. And if maybe a knee touches, but it looks like,
I don't think
looks
he
like a
touched the
touchdown.
ground. Rolled right over the defensive back, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I thought. lands on top of him, and then extends across the goal line. The knee's there, but he's already across. But again, how about this? They're known for occasionally taking some chances. They go with a pump and go to get a big gain and come back the next play with the double pass where they throw to Potter and eventually get this ball thrown down to Huff.
Holden Huff has been probably the best catching tight end for Boise State this year. He caught 15 for 215 yards and a couple of touchdowns coming into this game. He's a redshirt freshman from Rockland High School, California.
He's a beauty. He's going to be one of those players 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're going to be talking about one of the great receivers, tight end type of guys that can flex out. Huff at number 85 as a freshman has been that kind of guy. They don't have a lot of dynamic playmakers, but Huff's been a guy that they could count on.
That was a terrific play call by Robert Prince down there.
Yep.
That was a great spot. He and Chris talked about it. And Prince, of course, is upstairs. And Herbie has pointed out a couple of very talented offensive coordinators. Brian Harsin was down at Texas. He is now the head coach at Arkansas State. Brent Freese is the offensive coordinator of Florida, and so Robert Prince is here.
After review, the runner was on top of the defensive players and never was down, breaking the goal line. Touchdown.
And that's the beauty of instant replay.
Yeah, very aggressive drive there. 5 plays, 88 yards, and here they come again.
Lining up for a 2-point conversion. And faking it. Matt Miller going to run for the corner. Diving. Don't believe he got it. Travis Feeney, the linebacker from Richmond, California, redshirt freshman, was aggressively after him.
Boy, great speed that time, because it looked like as the play developed, he had a chance to get to the corner, but that gives you an indication of how fast Travis Feeney, as a linebacker, is able to chase him down and not allow him to pick up the 2 points.
But it's 18-3, Boise State with the lead on Washington. 34-yard touchdown pass makes it 18-3. Holden Huff for 6 points.
And this play is developed because Potter is right here. Huff is actually right there as a tight end. I want you to see what the defense does when they get the ball and they feel like they got a chance to get Potter close to the boundary. Look how these guys are coming up. And when you play Boise State, especially right here, you got to be careful of these guys getting behind you. Eventually they're going to make this call. This time it's Justin Glenn, who's been overly aggressive against short routes and against the running game. He gets out of position, and it's a well-thrown ball by Potter. But the timing, as you said earlier, from Robert Prince and Chris Peterson was why that play worked.
Another short kickoff. Mickens will let this one go out of bounds. And the penalty flag comes flying. And we check in with John Saunders. John.
All right, Brent, thanks a lot. I want to remind everybody, coming up on the Reese's halftime report, we'll look at the New Orleans Bowl. That was a high-scoring affair in that one. Lisa Salters in the National Football League, Detroit facing Atlanta later on tonight. Plus, we'll look at all the Pac-12 teams in the Bowl matchups they have coming up. Jesse and Todd join me. It's all coming up on the Reese's halftime report. Right now, back to Brent and Kirk.
All right, John, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you and the gang back in the studio. Another game on Christmas Eve day. First down and 10. High snap. Price pulls it down. Works his way over the middle this time. And that is a big gain with Williams finally being forced out of bounds. Williams is a sophomore from the state of Washington. And he was all Pac-12 honorable mention this year.
Yeah, they actually move him right here. Usually he's to the outside. They do a little bit of a play-action fake just to hold the linebackers, make him a little bit hesitant. But Kason Williams, usually an individual player that's put by himself on one side of the field. And even when Price delivers the ball, Tyler Horn letting him feel the wrath from that defense.
39 yards on that pass play. And Price has time, but then he ran out of it and threw it out of bounds because breaking free was Chongachu. Ricky Chongachu was coming at him.
Bringing that pressure. Again, just for people to understand, this Boise State defense only allowed 3 touchdown passes all year. Now, they've held 4 teams to under 75 yards passing in a game. So Keith Price, welcome to the party. And this is kind of how Boise State plays. And I got to tell you, the way they're winning the battle up front, if Washington's going to get back in this game, not just because they're trailing, but if they're going to have a chance, Price in the passing game, they're going to have to start to warm up.
Sankey searching 100 yards, and he's got it during the first half. Breaks through. Touchdown, Washington. Bishop Sankey goes over 100 yards with that run on a 26-yard burst, and he now has 123 here in the first half, and what a huge score for the Huskies.
Really good blocking up front here. They keep going to the outside to work their running game, and it's Hatchie, the left tackle, who pulled around with a big block there. Also good blocks by the wide receiver, DeAndre Campbell, also getting involved in sealing that. Inside defender trying to get to the outside. Campbell prevented that from happening. So great execution on the outside and a big answer there for Washington to keep their hopes in this game in the first half.
Coons tacks on the extra point. And Boise's lead is now just one score, 8 points. Remember, they failed the two-point conversion. Had they kicked the extra point, and we're up by 9, we'd have it on 2 scores. But with 4:42 to go here in the first half, it is a one-score football game.
Got to give Washington's defense credit for keeping them in this game. A lot of times their offense has turned the ball over.
Yeah, here's the Huskies
out of the end zone.
Just talking about that. They went from 106th to 30th in total defense, with Wilcox moving from Tennessee back to the Northwest. The 4th straight year that they've had a 1,000-yard rusher, and Sankey already over 100 yards here in the first half. Now, what has slowed down, and of course that's Jay with tight end. He's caught only 1 ball. Right. What has slowed them down, Herbie, considerably are those 2 turnovers, resulting in 6 Boise State points. Taking a knee to come out of the 25. Let us check in down below with Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Obviously important in that answer on that offensive drive there for Washington, but Steve Sarkisian, interestingly, coming over to the defense, really exhorting them, Brent, to dig in, stay focused, fight through any fatigue, look back to the sideline, understand the signals that are going to be sent in, and try to expect and adjust to this rhythm here from Boise State. There's huge opportunity here for the Washington defense to see if they can't build on the momentum that the other side of the ball is giving them, Brent.
Yeah, this is a big game, Tom, for Sarkisian and his coaching staff. That was a humbling loss after leading Washington State by 18 points. Southwick and Ajayi in the backfield for Boise State. Off the play action on first down, Southwick fires high, and it'll be second down and 10.
Good job here by this offense trying to give Southwick just a little bit more time. Jai in that backfield, you can see here comes the blitz, doing what he can off of that play action fake, and good footwork there by Southwick to buy enough time. But they had 2 receivers in that route. That's all they had. He had the time to throw, but he just didn't have anybody open downfield.
Big series defensively for the Huskies. 2nd and 10, down 8 here in the first half. And they eat up the run. This is going to make it 3rd and long. And Travis Feeney, number 41, a 6'4", redshirt freshman linebacker, has been all over the field for the Huskies.
Feeney and Thompson both probably could play safety. I mean, Feeney plays at 210 pounds. Thompson plays at 215 pounds. And that's been the answer by a lot of defensive coordinators. They have to play in the Pac-12 where there's these spread attacks. They have a lot of speed. You've got to be able to counter that with guys that can run. And both 41 and 7 can do that.
Third down and 9. Southwick is in a foot race, looking downfield. Dashes forward for the first down. Very good run, and he turned it over at the end. Huskies signaling they got it at the end of this play. He couldn't hang on, had the first down, and then coughed up the football.
And Brent, Josh Shirley is a great example of never giving up on a play. The sophomore comes from the backside. He chased that all the way down. He was chasing him from the line of scrimmage. He beat his man, the left tackle, and he's going all the way down the field trying to not give up on a play. Here he is right here. eventually he's going to catch up to him. Instead of giving up on the play, it's his effort and hustle that creates that turnover to get the ball back.
Now it's Keith Price and the Huskies. Got it back. They attack in Boise State territory across from 35. Sankey, the ball carrier, and Southwick, not only was he stopped after the first down, turned it over, and he's receiving some attention over there on the sideline.
Washington comes right back. I talked about how important it's going to be for Price in this passing game, and they've had that big run by Sankey to get into the end zone for a touchdown to get them with 8 points, and come right back again for another decent gain here on 1st and 10, still running the football.